Why are a record number of Australians moving towards using mortgage brokers instead of going directly to the bank? In today's video, we're going to be discussing this, and I think you'll find that the answers speak for themselves. The mortgage broking industry came to fruition in Australia in the late 80s, and a big part of it for many, many years was actually just full of what we would call cowboys. There was a lot of things happening that maybe wasn't really that great. But over the years, the industry as a whole has developed and is now considered a mature industry. This means that there's a huge portion of people that work in the mortgage broking space, but also that it's recognized as a professional industry by the government, by industry associations, and by many people in the public, yourself included. So why are people in droves moving towards using a mortgage broker instead of going direct to the bank? Well, over the years since mortgage broking first started, we're now at a point where 70% of Australians, that's 70, now actually use a mortgage broker to be able to help them secure finance. Now, you might be thinking, well, hold on, Edwina. Why on earth would so many people be using a mortgage broker? I have a home loan. I went directly to the bank. They seemed to do a good job. Why on earth would anybody use a mortgage broker? The reality is there's lots of different reasons for why somebody would actually use a mortgage broker. But let me give you 5 different reasons why people actually use a mortgage broker instead of going directly to a bank. Number 1, a mortgage broker actually works for you. They work on your behalf, not on behalf of the bank. So from the bank's point of view, they're really sitting there looking at it going, how many customers can we actually have? How can we bring as many people in and get them to have their mortgage with us as opposed to with some other bank? What you may not realize is that from the bank's point of view, the more people that they actually have who hold a mortgage with them, the more money they're going to make. This is why you would see every single year the major 4 banks in Australia actually having billion-dollar profits. But this is why they spend millions of dollars every month advertising, because for them, they need to bring as many customers in to have their home loans with them, whether it's actually the right thing for that individual or not. Now, let's actually compare this to a mortgage broker. A mortgage broker often will have a smaller boutique business. They aren't part of a massive conglomerate. They don't necessarily have a $1 million month budget to be able to spend on advertising. What a mortgage broker does, however, is they work directly for you. They work to look at the whole market and to be able to determine who has the best home loan offering for your specific financial circumstances. Now, this is different from everybody. Some people might work casual, other people work part-time, other people might have income through superannuation or investments. Not everybody has the exact same finances. And so what a mortgage broker does is they will actually look at who is available, which lender, which bank is available in the market, and who's going to give you the best possible home loan. They're going to look at things like, what's the interest rate? What are the fees? How quickly can that lender actually get you the approval that you need? Do they accept the security that you want? There's a lot of different factors that a mortgage broker actually goes through to determine whether you actually have the best home loan. Number 2, a mortgage broker will actually look at the security, and this is the property that you actually own. Again, not every property is exactly the same. Some people want to live in the country, other people want to live in the city. Some people want to live in a house, other people want to live in an apartment. Some people want to live on a unit, other people want to live on a farm. There's so many different types of properties out there, and the type of property that you have or that you want to buy is also really important when looking at which particular bank you want to go with, because not every bank and not all of the banks accept every single type of property. So a mortgage broker will help you to determine who's actually going to accept that particular property and who isn't. Number 3. The other thing a mortgage broker will actually spend a lot of time with you on is actually determining how much you can borrow and helping you to get into a better position. Here's where I like to think of a mortgage broker as a bit more of a guide. So you might have a really clear understanding of what you'd like to do and what you'd like to buy, but you probably don't actually know how to get there. But this is where a mortgage broker is invaluable. The amount of knowledge that they have is far beyond what you would be able to receive from, say, that 18-year-old that's at a teller at your local bank. What you'll find is a mortgage broker has a wealth of knowledge and information. Most mortgage brokers have been in the industry for over 14 years. So in that time, they've learned so many different aspects of how mortgages themselves actually work, how securities work, and they really have a greater understanding and a greater grasp on how you can get to where you're wanting to go. So a lot of mortgage brokers will actually help you to develop a plan, and they'll help you to get to a situation where you're applying for finance with a particular lender that they have ideally recommended to suit your circumstances, and they're going to help make sure that you actually get the approval. Number 4, one of the really great things that we hear all the time from our clients is that they appreciate that over the years we will work together with them to actually help them achieve those longer term goals. So for many brokers, they will actually look at, you might be a client today, but in 2 years' time, in 3 years' time, in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time, in 20 years' time, you're still a client with them and they will help you on that journey. You might start working with a mortgage broker when you're a first home buyer and then decide, you know what, actually, I want to upgrade. I want to get a bigger house. That mortgage broker would love to help you a second time. They've probably already been helping you in between those 2 different properties as well. Because for most mortgage brokers, what they'll do is they'll actually help you to negotiate your interest rates on a continual basis. It's certainly something that we do. Number 5, complaints. Yes, complaints and how many complaints are actually lodged with the industry association for complaining about the financial services industry is actually really important, because how often have you thought, you know what, I really don't like what happened in this particular situation with a bank, or what happened in this particular situation with a credit provider. Complaints are a key metric when looking at any particular industry. And within the finance industry, it's super important. Actually understanding and having the confidence that mortgage brokers across the board have much lower complaints than the banks is really comforting for a lot of people. It means that if there's any kind of issue that happens, you're more likely to have it resolved in a very fast, quick process than you are going to have it resolved with one of the banks. The odds of it also happening are a lot lower. Within the mortgage broking space, compliance is huge. In fact, there's more compliance than what there is for the banks themselves. Here's a sneaky little Number 6, mortgage brokers have a wealth of knowledge. And for many of us, we actually want to be able to share that information with everybody. It's a lot of information and it's really helpful. A lot of mortgage brokers almost act like thieves. We are the ones that help you to steal from the banks and keep more of your own money in your pockets. It may be a silly analogy, but the reality is that this very reason, that is why so many people, over 70% of Australians, are actually using mortgage brokers now instead of going direct to a bank. So if you have a mortgage and you're thinking about property or refinancing, I would suggest speak to a mortgage broker, because at the end of the day, they're there to help you. They'll also make it a lot more interesting and fun for you. They'll be able to answer all your questions and they'll be able to guide you through that process of actually step by step what you need to do, how you can actually get to where you want to go. If you enjoyed this video, I'd love you to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.